What I have to say is that it was the best professional experience I've ever had, or probably ever will have, and one of the best personal experiences I've ever had.
Did it feel like it was going to go down in history like it did when you were making it?
We had no idea. We knew we were doing it. Doing a television show and people were enjoying it. I mean, the ratings told us that people were enjoying it, but it was really gigantic and very personal. And not just what it would show. It was about how much it meant to people, and how touched they were by it, and how inspired they were by it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that just caused us all to kind of double down and decide we should do not only the best work we could do, but keep in mind that we had an audience out there that was really counting on us for inspiration that we didn't even realize we were providing.
What were the emotions on set when that last episode was shot?
Shooting that was tough.
Mm-hmm.
Saying goodbye to people you've known and loved and worked with for years was, and even though we intended to keep, maintain our relationships and have, we knew we weren't going to be seeing each other on the same level and to the same degree, that we had during the show. So it was, bittersweet was a good word. It was, Bert Metcalf, who was our executive producer, was directing the last that movie episode, Goodbye Farewell and Lament. And he said at one point, "I've never had to tell actors not to cry so much." we were all, you get to this place, and as Loretta said, you realize this is the last time I'll ever be in this spot with this person or with these people. So it was really a quite extraordinary experience. And then the day we did the last shot of the last episode, which was actually showed before that, we had hundreds of people on the set, media from all over the world. It was really, really amazing. Well, the Keeling curve is a graphic, I guess you call it. It's on the wall of the National Science Foundation, or National Science Museum, which shows the rise in CO2 count in our atmosphere. Dave Keeling was a scientist, one of the pioneers, the pioneer essentially, of understanding that CO2 in the air, which was expanding, the count was expanding, and that's what the curve is about, is having an impact on our climate. And that's really the fundamental basis of the understanding of climate change, or what some people don't like to refer to as global warming.
Right.
We have an industry in this country that insists that there is no such thing as global warming, despite the changes we see around us in the climate every day, the circumstances that we live in. Fellow George Shea approached me one day. We live in the same neighborhood, and he said, "I had this idea." He was about doing a show about this fellow who was this extraordinary kind of pioneer in the area of understanding global warming. And I said, "That sounds interesting." He said, "And I'd love to have you do it." And I said, "What are we talking about?" And he saw it as a one-man show, a play. And he said, I said actually to him, that's great, but a scientist talking about science is going to be a lecture. And I don't think people want to sit still for a lecture. So we batted it back and forth for a couple of revisions, and ultimately he came up with an entertaining and educational piece about this man's life, his stumbling into this, even stumbling into the work he did. I mean, science, as he called it, doing science in nature. And his discoveries have pointed other people to the fact that it's very much going to have an impact on us. And that it is created by us, by humans on Earth who are committed to the use of fossil fuels mostly, that are having this extraordinary impact on the rising of CO2.
And what's the reception like? I mean, are people becoming educated? Do they come out enlightened, or?
Yeah, that's been my experience. I mean, people laugh and, enjoy the show because it's, as I said, it's about this guy's life. It's not just about the dry science. And they're challenged by it, I think intrigued by it. The experience I've had has been just terrific. People are interested in knowing more, and we usually have a talk back afterward. And it spurs people to think more about it, to see if there aren't things they can be doing as individuals to have an effect on offsetting this extraordinary impact. And to be, I think, more informed and therefore more armed against the deniers. I think it's urgently important for people to understand that they have a part to play in this drama of our ongoing struggle in terms of how we live and where we live, and the impact of the rising level of CO2. It's as simple as that. And a little thing like carbon dioxide. Yeah, great question. I think there are any number of ways there are small things that everybody can do, and there are big things that people need to do. But what I encourage people to do is not look to me as the expert, look to Greenpeace and look to the National Resources Defense Council and look to the World Wildlife Fund and look to these outfits that are out there trying to make an impact. For me, it was what you do as a citizen. And, but it amounted to me being part of demonstrations and carrying signs. And then I started getting work as an actor. And when I got work as an actor, there was a little bit of attention paid, a little more attention paid to what I had to say. Then I got on m.a.s.h. And suddenly there were cameras and reporters and interested people wanting to know about this guy coming into this show. Could it succeed? And they had heard a little about some of my political, social justice involvements, and they said, "What about that? What about this? What about this?" And I figured it's a great opportunity to talk about the same things I've been talking about for a long time. I've been given the opportunity to present people with a gift, and that is this story. And that, to me, is one of the great aspects of being a performer, because if I just walked down the street and shook hands with everybody, which I'd love to do, I wouldn't be able to get that message out to as many.
It's nice to know that people who have a following stand for what they believe. Educate people on it.
It's funny, I don't think of it as a following.
It is.
But
very much so, I think, yes. It's been wonderful having you here. You have educated me, and I think everyone here.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thanks for being so genuine.
Thank you.
That's it for us, folks.